Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. We're doing Think Tech Talks this afternoon here in the 3 o'clock block. We'll be followed by Hawaii Energy in the 4 o'clock block. But today for our show, we have Len Higashi, the Acting Executive Director of HTDC, the High Tech Development Corporation, and Art Osserman, Program Director of HCATT, which is the Hawaii
Center
for Advanced Transportation Technology.
Got it.
Yeah, we speak of little else at our dinner table, yeah. HCATT, okay, on Cook Street.
On Cook Street.
Okay. So, I'm not sure what the title should be. I guess we will name this Update on HTDC and HCATT. Great. So get you both. But you're related.
Yes, we are.
You're like cousins.
I'm his child.
Okay, fair enough. Len, why don't you explain the relationship between the High Tech Development Corporation, which is an agency attached, a corporate government corporation attached to the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, with your relationship with HCATT?
Yeah, sure. It's pretty straightforward. HCATT is a program from HTDC, federally funded program for HTDC. And Stan Osserman is the director, and we're lucky to have him.
I feel lucky to have him too. You know, it's one of those days.
I feel lucky to be here, Jay.
Okay. Well, tell us more about HCATT now. Exactly, you know, it's one of the things that the Energy Policy Forum has been scratching its head over is, you know, we talk about, you know, PV panels, we talk about wind, we talk about all kinds of issues around generation of electricity, but we don't talk about transportation, clean energy and transportation. And indeed, you ride out there and see all the SUVs and guzzling all the gas and stuck in traffic and whatnot. And we're not making much progress there at all. And you, HCATT, are one of the leading, or if not the leading organizations actually doing something about making clean energy and transportation. What are you doing?
We're actually doing a lot of stuff, Jay, and I'm actually a lot more optimistic. I see a lot happening already, and it's probably not as apparent to most folks, but as I mentioned before, I'm just impressed with the number of hybrid vehicles that I see on the road out there today. And you know, electric vehicles are kind of the next step into moving towards clean energy in transportation. So if we can get the hydrogen-powered vehicles at the end state, you'll have ultra-clean power. Because basically hydrogen, for me, as the end state would be, you produce it using renewables, whether it's sunlight, whether it's wind, whether it's geothermal, whether it's hydroelectric, whether it's ocean thermal, to make your electricity. Take that electricity, pull apart a water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen you can use in a hospital, you can use in aviation, you can use in industry. The hydrogen, you store it, pressurize it, put it in vehicles, drive vehicles. When you drive the vehicle, you end up with water and heat and electricity. So zero carbon emissions.
Doesn't hurt the environment at all.
Right. You start off with renewable energy, you end up with zero carbon emissions. So if you start with the hybrid vehicles that you see more of on the road today, and most of the major automobile companies are making hybrid SUVs or hybrid cars, they're electric vehicles that are run with a gas-powered engine, a smaller scale. They're more efficient. For me, that's a big step towards eventually getting to totally clean transportation. So I see some progress going on. What we do at HCATT, like Len says, is we get a lot of federal funding, mostly from the Air Force right now, to prove advanced.
Is there any federal funding at all right now?
We still have some that goes out about another 2 years.
But it's a joke. We try to insinuate.
Okay,
you know, all
this week there's no money.
Every single show.
There's no money this week, but next week we're hoping there'll be money.
Okay.
And what we're doing, like at Hickam, we have a hydrogen production plant that we've proven can run off 146 kilowatt photovoltaic array. And it produces about 65 to 100 kilograms of hydrogen a day, which is enough to run about a 10 vehicle fleet at Hickam. We're proving to the Air Force that hydrogen can be that secure, renewable power source that they need when they deploy to a forward operating base. At the same time, for a local community in an island nation like Hawaii or any Pacific island nation, we're proving that it can be done on this island and give you pure, clean, renewable energy generated transportation.
Just a digression, but you're the perfect guy for this because you're actually a general in the Air National Guard, am I right?
Correct.
Okay, see, sometimes I get it right.
And that's probably a good match for me. I've been involved in the energy initiatives back since Governor Lingle was governor, and I was the state's DoD representative under the National Guard with PACOM, working with Dr. Kylie Vai and Jade at PACOM on energy initiatives. So I've been involved in energy conservation and renewable energy for quite some time. And Ray Starling, who is in the
He'll
energy.
be here in a few minutes for the 4 o'clock show.
He's also an Air Force general.
Yeah, we know this.
And
he doesn't talk about it easily, though.
He and I are good friends. We've known each other a long time, but we're closet energy guys, and come out of the closet when we get close to retirement and work on energy.
Well, I do want to talk in much greater detail about hydrogen in a minute, but before we do that, I just like to rotate the gavel here to Len and ask him to tell us, what is HTDC, what is it doing these days, and get updated on it.
Sure. HTDC has been leading the state in basically spreading the high-tech business. And we're best known for running the Manoa Innovation Center, but that's probably just a small part of what we do. So we've been running behind the blue startups, working with the box jelly, trying to get the word out that tech is viable in the state. And for that, it's been a lot of fun, get to meet a lot of new people, and really enjoy being on your show.
Yeah, well, we love having you on the show. We want you to be on the show on a regular basis.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.
Watch for HTDC on ThinkTech. It's coming soon.
One thing I forgot to mention earlier, when you asked about HCATT and our relationship, I did want to point out that HCATT is one of the hidden gems this state has. And when you offered to have us down here, I thought I'd take the opportunity to bring down Stan.
No, I
So
think it's
thank you
very
very much.
important because it's an action thing. It's
Yeah.
like you are the incubator, accelerator, what have you, the innovation center. In many ways, it's not just a physical thing; it's a virtual thing. But you're helping others. Now, in this one case with this program, HCATT, you're actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
And that makes it special.
Great.
So, Yuka Nagashima was your predecessor as the CEO of HTDC. Tell us about her. How is she doing? Have you had any traffic with her in Denmark, is it?
Yeah, so Yuka's, as some of you know, Yuka's gone and she's off to Denmark. She's currently enjoying her life right now, and if you check in on her on Facebook, you'll see that she's still active on the Hawaii Innovation Alliance, letting Hawaii know what Denmark is up to and paths for us to move forward as a state. She's still enjoying her food, as you know, but she said she is looking for a good sushi restaurant. So
Denmark.
she's doing well. She said to tell everybody hi, and we do all miss her very much.
Next time we do this, we got to get her connected by Skype.
I think she'd like that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I think she'd love
And we ought to
that.
have a bunch of sushi here to eat while she's watching.
She can watch. Yeah.
And she can put up her Facebook avatar and
Yeah.
keep us all entertained.
All of a
So.
sudden, the sushi disappears. Yeah. Okay. Well. You're selecting a new CEO. You're the acting executive director, but you're in the process of selecting a new CEO at HTDC. This is very important. So tell us, how does that work and how is it going?
Yeah. So the process started. I think that we first had 50 applicants, and it's a long process. Finding the right person to lead the state in this very important industry. It takes some time. So where we're at right now is we've gone through the first stages of interview, and we'll keep the process going throughout the year.
Okay, you narrow it down to a field, the short list, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then you interview the short list, and then you make some hard decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first step is just to identify some potential candidates and get a chance to bring them into the room. Make sure that they understand the Hawaii environment and what's different about Hawaii, and make sure that they understand the tech industry and some of the nuances we have there. So that process is in the works, and I have confidence that we'll end up in a good place.
Okay, we're going to take a break in a minute, but I want to tell you that I was on the board of directors of HTDC at the last time HTDC went through this selection process. I was there when you applied.
Well, I got to congratulate you. You did a great job.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I got to congratulate myself.
Yeah, she's a great leader.
Yeah, I was rooting for her the whole time. I'll admit that to you now.
Terrific.
Anyway, we'll take a short break. This is ThinkTech Talks here on a given Wednesday. We're talking to Len Higashi, the Acting Executive Director of HTDC, and Stan Osserman, the Program Director of HCATT. HCATT standing for Hawaii Center for Advanced Transportation Technology.
Got it.
I have it written on my eyeballs. Okay, we're going to take a short break.
I'm Bill Spencer, President of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association. We do monthly luncheon programs with ThinkTech about things that matter to Hawaii entrepreneurs, investors, and business service providers. So join us on the fourth Thursday of every month at the Plaza Club. For information about upcoming events or to join our mailing list, visit hvca.org. See you there.
We're back, we're live, we're ThinkTech in the ThinkTech Talks here. We're calling it Update on HTDC, and the slogan title is, As HTDC Goes, So Goes Tech in Hawaii. It's true.
Thank you.
With Len Higashi, Acting Executive Director of HTDC, and Stan Osserman, Program Director of HCATT. Continuing our discussion with Len, in the last legislature, there was an effort to extend, by a substantial period, or renew, as the case may be, the lease that goes from the university, which, by the way it was set up, owns the title, the fee simple title, to the land under the Manoa Innovation Center. And there was a number, well, at least one big bill that was intended to extend that, which failed. So that was a blow, and I wonder how things are doing then, because that lease will expire, and theoretically MIC ends next year, the year after, soon enough.
Yeah, April 2015. So
okay.
Yeah, thank you. The people in the legislature have continued to support HTDC by suggesting that the University of Hawaii extend the Manoa Innovation Land Lease beyond April 2015. And HTDC is very appreciative of the support we receive, but we're not just sitting back and waiting and letting things play out. We're actively looking for a new site. Over the past couple months, we've retained a contractor through DAGS, and they're helping us identify new site location for a potential incubation center. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be something very important going into this legislative session for people of the state, and especially the stakeholders in the tech community, to speak up and to understand the value proposition that Manoa Innovation Center has brought to the state, and the potential for a new innovation center to deliver to the state.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
The new property, I'm going to talk about the new property. Well, there was one property under consideration last year, was Puck's Alley. Is that the property you're talking about?
We're still going through the site selection process, so it hasn't been completely narrowed down, but there is a potential site in Kaka'ako, near the Japsam facility.
Oh, that's exciting.
Which offers a lot of promise. It has a lot of synergies. Again, close relationship with the university. It would be an interesting opportunity for Kaka'ako, seeing with the developments coming up there for the housing. This would be an opportunity for the work component of the live, work, play. And I think that with the young energy, the creativity, the scene happening there, this could be a nice, logical, it passes the common sense test. So like I said, the site selection isn't complete yet, and our contractor has basically looked at every site possible that the state owns today, looking for a new opportunity. But this site does seem promising.
Oh, my heart is beating faster, Len.
Yeah.
And I know that Stan feels the same way about it.
It's just down the street.
Just down the street. That's fabulous. You guys could, see each other every day. You could have lunch every day at the Bagel. This is it, 433 Cook Street across Fishers. Yeah. I bet you go there.
I go there.
I'll
Yeah.
see you there.
Yeah.
That would really make my heart sing if you guys could put it together in Kaka'ako. You got the box jelly. You got all those stores that are coming up. All those young businesses. The whole generation is sort of finding its step in Kaka'ako.
It's an exciting place to be.
Exciting place to be. Yeah, that would be perfect. I vote for that.
Like I said, there's still a few pieces, putting it together, but it passes the common sense test. There's a reason to be there, and I think more importantly, it would be part of something a lot bigger, and I think that's an important position for us to be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, all the elements are ready for you there. You mentioned earlier the box jelly and all this, and
Sure.
the notion of co-working it's a perfect peripheral, for an incubator like MIC, just perfect. Well, we'll see what happens.
Sure.
You'll tell us about it, right?
Yeah.
Right here at this table. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it'll probably involve some legislation for money, who knows what. So you got to hurry. Right after this show, you got to go back and start working on that some more.
It's going to take a lot of support, and this is something that's very important, and it's a resource that the state needs.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. And I would like to cover the story. I'd like you to cover the story, and this is very important. It's the most important, pivotal point for tech, that you find a good place and that you bring it alive, and that would be just an excellent venue for it. For so many reasons, so many people would like to see that. I'm sure it'll be like unanimous. That's what I think. Unanimous.
I think Kaka'ako would be great because it's more of a business center. Manoa is great. It's a great location, a great place to be, but there's a lot more going on down in Kaka'ako that, like you say, it's vibrant. The young businesses are there, the great startup businesses. So that's the place they go.
Yeah.
They can afford some space down there, and that's where they get their start. So it's a perfect match.
Yeah. Wow. Exciting. You got the medical school block away, and all those possibilities for Kaka'ako Makai. You got the restaurants, such as they are. You got all the housing coming in there, including affordable housing. If you're a startup, you get the affordable housing. If you've made your bones and got some real venture capital, you can move up.
Yeah.
Take the not so affordable housing.
And you didn't even mention the surfing spots that are
And the
close.
surfing spots, and HCATT, and the co-working
That's
space. I mean, it goes on and on. There's all these things. I can feel it now. My heart is beating faster.
Like I said, we haven't moved yet. And
We can speculate and ruminate, though.
Yeah, our job is to put together viable options, and we want to present the state with the best viable option, and we'll let the state decide.
Next topic I want to cover, Len, and Stan, is the state of technology. We on Wednesday afternoon we have this thing, Hawaii, the state of clean energy, but also we can call it Hawaii, the state of technology. Okay, you guys do a lot. We're always working hard at it. But I wonder if you'd give us a little thumbnail about how it is doing these days. Got the Blue Planet Capital in there and all the mentoring and whatnot. Got the Pictor energy technology research going on. I'm not sure what else, but you can tell me what is going on with technology right now. Snapshot.
Sure, I think that you covered two of the highlights going on right now in the state with the Blue Startups and the Energy Accelerator. But I like to use the term, I give credit to my friend Jason Russian, who put this out in front of us last year.
Yeah, he was here. He's a great interview.
He's absolutely.
You
And
should have him on your show.
And the term he used last year, and it resonated, was froth. There's a lot of activity going on. There's probably more than I'm even aware of, and I get out a lot. But we're waiting for the wave to form, and we're waiting for these success stories to come out. And I think we're right at that point right now, and that's why it makes the state of tech right now very exciting time, and a lot of promise, a lot of activity, and a reason to rally behind. And so that's new for us, and that's an energy we haven't felt probably in the past few years. That resurgence feels good, and I'm happy to be a small part of that.
Yeah, well, it is very exciting. You know, it's funny though. I made a comparison along these lines in an article I wrote a couple of months ago for the Star Advertiser. Was it a couple of months ago? Maybe a couple of weeks ago, but whatever. About how, you know, in the early part of the resurgence of the year 2000 or so, when 221 was just on the horizon, when the Powell Hanna Group was coming back from San Francisco, when every man, woman, and child wanted to, you know, form a corporation and get capital and do something. They had huge dreams. They had dreams of curing cancer. They had dreams of bringing big pharma here. Dreams of making extraordinary inventions. Now, if you look at, say, Blue Startups is probably a good example. It's apps.
Sure.
It's remote, rather cell phones and smartphones and the like, and small devices, Apple iPad things. But it's not global vision. So have we lost something? Or is that the way the world has moved? Is that the way technology has moved? I'd like to see a technology industry here that can cure cancer, no kidding around. I want our dreams to be as big as all outdoors. Have we lost something? Do we still have those dreams?
No, I think that critique is fair. But I do think that it's based on what's available. And so the reality of today, as most of the tech companies are finding, is capital is difficult to come by. Angel investment is difficult to come by. Venture capital is even harder. And IPO is very difficult in this day and age. Most of the companies now are adopting this new way of thinking, which is called the lean startup or the lean launchpad. And it's got a couple different names. But it's a very efficient way of starting a business and being able to validate your business model before you scale. So I think what you're seeing now is a lot of companies that are coming online that still have those big dreams, but they're not selling those big dreams. They're proving out that they are a viable business, which will lead to bigger things. They still have the dreams of solving the world's problems and curing cancer, but first they need to demonstrate that they are a viable business worthy of a second round investment to take on these bigger tasks. So I think it's back to the fraud thing.
I don't know where I saw or heard this, but one comment I heard recently, it's not about Hawaii so much as it's about the venture capital industry. The venture capital industry has evolved, it has changed, and it's being really careful. And it has to be very sure that this company, this idea is going to work. As a result, you know, people can't take the kind of chances they could take. You know, I think part of startup is to take chances, to be a little crazy, you know, to make wild bets. And once in a while you hit it big. That's what we need to do. So, I mean, I think part of this is that venture capital, the guys who run venture capital companies have gotten less adventurous, you know.
Sure. It starts, you know, back to the lean startup model. I think people are they're migrating from this faith-based approach to evidence-based, and they need to see the traction. So they're forcing the companies to demonstrate different metrics than they used to. Before, they wave their hands in the air and talk big numbers and show the revenue charts. It was fun, but times have changed. Companies are adapting to the market, and I think that's what we're seeing. But that doesn't excuse or that doesn't dismiss the need for disruptive technology. And I think that's the key word. You get the disruptive technology, those are the game changers. That's what's going to make the big difference. That's going to be the next big thing, and that's what's going to change the economy.
Yes, I agree. Here and everywhere, in the U.S. anyway. I love your term. I was smiling all the way through your answer because you use this term faith-based technology.
Oh, it's not mine. I just came back from New York and taking Steve Blank's class, and you know, it's a movement.
What is Steve Blank's class?
Okay, Steve Blank's class, he's teaching the Lean Launchpad for incubators and accelerators. Steve Blank, Eric Ries, Alexander Osterwalder, they're all on this lean startup model. I went primarily to meet other centers who are teaching this approach, also looking for opportunities for us to spread this throughout the state. And those are his terms, faith-based versus evidence-based, and showing how entrepreneurism can be a science as well. I mean, that's the mystery that that NSF has given them credit that they have unlocked, because NSF has signed up Steve Blanks to start. NSF is National Science Foundation, for those of you. But they've signed up Steve Blank to put together the I-Corp, Innovation Corp, and they're running through this lean launchpad mode of thinking. But you know, he wrote an article, Steve Blank wrote an article a few months ago that basically sold me on the reason why I need to take his class, and it was the Lean Startup Changes Everything. Yeah. It's a new, efficient way of doing things, and I think that that's really important. And really what it means for tech is bigger business and government can learn from a tech startup. How neat.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
We all can.
We all can.
You know, it's like you go to New York and you take a guy's class and all that, and you learn stuff about how you know, the intersection of technology and venture capital. We know more about it, and it can work. But what I think is everybody has to know. We have to tell all of them how this works, so they won't be concerned. You know, they won't be afraid of coming in on it and learning everything that you know, Len, everything.
Well, I don't know too much, so that's pretty easy. That can be done in a short amount of time.
We're going to take a short break now that you said that.
Thank you.
This is Think Tech Talks here on a given Wednesday in the 3 o'clock block. We're talking to Len Higashi, Acting Executive Director of HTDC, and Stan Osserman, whose time is coming on hydrogen in a minute. He's the Program Director of HCATT on Cook Street near the Bagel. And we're talking about an update on HTDC and HCATT. As HTD, I guess, and HCATT go, so goes tech in Hawaii. We'll be right back after this break.
I'm David Day, the host of Asian Review. This is a Think Tech program in which we take the issues of the Asia-Pacific region, whether they be in business, in foreign policy, in national security, or geopolitics. And we take those issues and we try to probe down in some real depth. Maybe it's not always politically correct, but we get to the truth. We do things that the regular media can't do. And the reason that we can do those things is because we here at Think Tech have the contacts, we have the network, and we can take the time and explore the issues in depth. Tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. here at ThinkTechHawaii.
We're back, we're live, we're Think Tech on Wednesday with Len Higashi, Acting Executive Director of High Tech Development Corporation, attached agency to DBED, Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism. See what runs off your tongue. And Stan Osserman, the Program Director at HCATT, which is the Hawaii Center for Advanced Technology, Transportation Technology.
Got it.
And I still have to work on it.
I'm just getting it after a couple months.
We're doing an update on HTDC and HCATT. As they go, so goes tech in Hawaii. But turning the hot spotlight on you, Stan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do we got here? I mean, there was a talk about Linda Lingle. There was a fund created in the second part of the second term of her administration called the Hydrogen Fund. The legislature put $10 million into that. And to my knowledge, it never really got invested much in hydrogen because sort of the needle moved beyond hydrogen somehow, where really hydrogen is, as you know, very, very important. So we need research in hydrogen. We need development in hydrogen. You guys are the key, I think, my own view, to clean energy and transportation.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jay. I've been looking at transportation for several years now, and there's a lot of technology out there, a lot of green initiatives and things, but when you really get down to what's the best for Hawaii, what would give us the biggest bang for the buck, what can we really do that fits with our culture, that fits with our environment, that fits with everything, our economy, it's hydrogen. And what we're doing at HCATT is we take some federal funding, mostly from the Air Force, and improve hydrogen technology at Hickam. Right now, we just received a 25-passenger van, a crew bus, that's powered by a hydrogen fuel cell, and it carries 10 kilograms of hydrogen on board, can go about a little over 100 miles, and we fill it up with hydrogen at Hickam at our plant that produces it. Like I say, the plant can make hydrogen off of just sunlight, or can make it off of PV. In the near future, we're going to put up some wind turbines there. that will also produce renewable energy, and will show that we can produce hydrogen off of wind power.
There were some turbines, very unusual
Yes.
turbines. They were vertical,
Yes.
then rather than horizontal turbines.
They had two problems. One was a technical problem, and one was the company had some financial/legal issues. So we've taken those turbines down, but we've salvaged the infrastructure, the stanchions that were there.
Yeah.
We're planning on actually using a local company, Natural Power Concepts, to put one of their
sure,
designs,
we know those guys.
put one of their designs up on the same stanchions
Larry
to
Lieberman,
do the same thing exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to that project. We're also looking forward to possibly doing a waste to energy, kind of like a H-Power thing on Hickam, that will go either 2, 5, or 10 tons a day of rubbish, turn it into hydrogen and electricity. We're helping Representative Nakashima on the Big Island look at hydroelectric to hydrogen, as well as geothermal to hydrogen for their transportation needs. So we're stepping out on hydrogen. We're big on hydrogen.
So I want people to understand with excuse the term, the power of hydrogen. The thing about hydrogen that really makes it special, and it goes even beyond transportation, is that you can put it in a tank,
Right.
and you can take the tank anywhere,
Exactly.
and then you can take it out of the tank and make it into energy again.
Right, because hydrogen is actually an energy carrier. In and of itself, it's not energy, but it carries energy. So you have to think of hydrogen more like a battery, where you store energy. You store it in a gaseous form instead of in a solid form or in a liquid lead acid battery or something like that. You can store energy a lot of different ways. And the more density you punch in there, like gasoline and things are very dense energy sources, but they're also dangerous. Hydrogen has that nice mix of, it's got the energy, but the energy density isn't, in my mind, from all I've seen and looked at, much safer than other fuels that we use today.
It does burn, though.
It does burn.
It could burn your eyebrows right off.
It will, very quickly.
But, and what's interesting, I went to the fire department, had a program on this. It was
Yes.
very educational. Were you there? It was really amazing.
No, but the
They
fire
had-
departments are all into.
They're all into this. They're all trained now.
Yes, they are.
There's not a lot of hydrogen vehicles yet, but they're trained and they're
Yes,
ready.
they are.
So they had a hydrogen vehicle and it was burning. And the interesting thing about it, really remarkable, is you couldn't see
That's right.
the flame.
The flame's nearly invisible.
Yeah.
But the neat thing about hydrogen is it's, number one, it's the most common element in the universe. So it's there. When you have the compressed hydrogen, we usually run the big vehicles at 5,000 psi. The tanks are certified to 1.5 times the working pressure of the tank. So very safe tanks. Even if they're ruptured and the gas escapes, it dissipates in the air pretty quickly.
Right.
And so as long as it's dissipating in the air and you don't confine it,
It doesn't explode.
It doesn't explode.
Yeah.
And if it does burn, it burns quickly, it burns invisibly. So even at our gas stations where we do fueling, we have temperature sensors, thermal sensors that look for thermal image. And if there's any kind of spike on the thermals, they flood the area with nitrogen, and then it backs off and looks for another thermal image. If it's there, it floods the area with nitrogen again.
So you could never have the Hindenburg dirigible incident again.
We never say never, but it'd be pretty darn hard. It would be pretty darn hard. One of the things that we look at, especially if you deal with the military a lot, you know that safety, handling safety, materials safely, and working safely, especially on aircraft, is a big thing. So a lot of what we build into our projects with the Air Force at Hickam are all the safety aspects. There's grounding in the pads that the vehicles refuel on, which probably should be in every gas station that you have in the state anyway. Grounding attachments to the vehicle when we fuel it.
Right. So no static electricity that
Correct,
might set
exactly.
something off. So help me design something, okay, Stan?
Okay.
Like last week, 2 weeks ago, we had Joe Saturnia of Island Pacific Energy, and he brought to our program on solar, he brought this storage device. Okay, the storage device took energy out of the solar and put it in batteries, and lots of electronics to make it work real efficiently. And when the sun went behind the cloud or whatever, or at night, the thing would return energy to the roof, or rather to the house. So it was really swell, and this means you could stay off the grid a lot longer.
Exactly.
And save money. And it's kind of, I wouldn't call it completely disruptive, but in my mind, it is kind of disruptive, but it's just batteries in the end, and it's battery agnostic. That's a new term for you. Battery agnostic means you can put any kind of battery in there.
Right.
So I suppose I take Joe Saturnia's device, and instead of using batteries, I use a little thing that will take the electricity that comes off the PV and use that to generate hydrogen. Okay, and I put the hydrogen in a tank instead of the batteries. And then then when I need it, I bleed the hydrogen out of the tank and I put it in a fuel cell to regenerate the electricity.
Sure. In fact, I'll give you a dichotomy.
Yeah.
Normally, Hawaiian Electric is selling a lot of energy during the day to run air conditioners and printers and computers and everything that we use at work. But what's happening at your house? You're not doing anything at home. You're not watching TV. You're at work most of the time. So if you ran a photovoltaic during the middle of the day when the sun's out, and with that extra electricity you're not using in your house, you're making hydrogen, it's just another storage device. You store it, and then you can either use it in your vehicle, if you have a hydrogen-powered vehicle,
sure,
or turn around and use the same kind of fuel cell technology to power your house.
Sure.
Piece of cake.
More. And I can take the tank down to the waterfront.
Exactly.
And sell it to a ship going to Asia, where they can use it.
We hope so.
And that would be my new retirement on top of Social Security, making hydrogen. What a job.
I wouldn't quit your day job trying to sell hydrogen internationally. But the neat thing is, though, that everything we can do to make renewables storable in Hawaii means less oil we bring in from someplace else to produce our energy here.
So here's the question. In my little design plan, my little schematic here, is there a gizmo where I can feed electricity into the gizmo, and out the other side comes hydrogen?
Yes.
Right now, today I can go buy one.
Yes. You can buy them, you can go on the internet and buy them. And the prices range depending on how much hydrogen you want to produce, anywhere from 6,000 or 7,000 up from there.
Okay. But that can handle a volume,
sure,
a certain volume.
And I was trying to crunch some numbers yesterday in my office, and I'm looking at if you can produce 1 to 2 kilograms of hydrogen a day at home, you could probably provide most of your energy needs for your vehicle and your house. Depending on, if you run air conditioning all the time, that's probably not enough. But if you have a fairly fuel efficient vehicle and a conservative energy efficient house, I think 2 kilograms a day would probably be reasonable.
What kind of a tank would hold 2 kilograms of hydrogen?
It would be about maybe a little bit bigger than a scuba tank.
Really? So I could carry it myself?
Yeah, it'd be about that much space, yes.
And that much weight? Right. Because you have to have the steel case.
It's a metal case encased with usually some kind of carbon fiber and epoxy outside.
Okay.
It's a two-layered tank.
Can I buy this somewhere now?
All of the technology that we're talking about is commercial off-the-shelf available.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Now, I got it in the tank. I'm trying to beat Joe Saturnia now. Right? I got it in the tank. It sits in my yard somewhere in a little steel box. And I want to bleed off the hydrogen and recreate electricity for my house.
Okay.
That's going to take a fuel cell device.
Correct.
Is that also available?
Yes, it is. They're also available commercial off the shelf. You can go online and look. And they make them at the individual user level. A lot of places that like to live off the grid, like Alaska, and other places in the frozen tundra north, where there's a lot of space and a lot of energy out there, but no grid. They already market these things, whether it's little hydroelectric things for your stream next to your house, or whether it's hydrogen fuel cell power to back up your house power. The little fuel cells are available, and again, you take the fuel cell makes DC electricity, you put that with an inverter, and you got AC electricity for your house.
Wow. Now, last question, and we'll go to a break. Is this efficient, or am I going to lose a lot of energy in the process of changing it to hydrogen and then changing it back from hydrogen?
Actually, the process is more efficient than anything we do now with combustible engines, internal combustion engines. There's no moving parts in the hydrogen fuel cell, basically, other than small electric pumps, and that's it. So it's low maintenance. It's the catalyst that they use to do the actual conversion last indefinitely, as long as you don't introduce contaminants into them, and you can keep producing renewable energy at a fairly low cost for a long time.
Len, I'm so glad you brought Stan along.
Yeah, I am.
You know, here's a man who loves his job.
I do.
And listening to him, it gives me euphoria to the point where I think I need to take a break. That's Len Higashi, Acting Executive Director of HTDC, and Stan Osserman, Program Director of HCATT. We're talking about an update on HTDC and HCATT. As they go, so goes tech in Hawaii. We'll be right back after this break.
I'm Bill Spencer, President of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association. We do monthly luncheon programs with ThinkTech about things that matter to Hawaii entrepreneurs, investors, and business service providers. So join us on the fourth Thursday of every month at the Plaza Club. For information about upcoming events or to join our mailing list, visit hvca.org. See you there.
Okay, we're back. We're live. I'm Jay Fidel here on ThinkTech Talks on Wednesday. We have Len Higashi, Acting Executive Director of HTDC, and Stan Osserman, the Program Director of HCATT. We're talking about HTDC and HCATT. As they go, so goes tech in Hawaii. You know, for the last part of our show, gentlemen, I'd like to ask you for your wish list. What is your wish list, say, starting around January 15th?
Okay, is this Christmas already?
Right.
I think our wish list is, for the state, is really in investment and appreciation and awareness for high tech. You know, the state's been looking for diversifying their economy and looking to tech as a way of doing it. HTDC is square in the middle of it, and our job is really connecting the dots. There's a lot of individual activities going on within the state, some private-led, some public-led, and what we've been focused on is connecting the dots and bringing these things all together and shining light onto them, because I think the activities that they perform are very important to the state. So my ask for the state is to really appreciate all the efforts and celebrate the activity that's going on around us, to get involved, to put your resource, put your time, which a lot of people are stepping up and doing. So I look forward to more continued support. That's my wish list.
Okay, Stan.
I would echo the same thing. For me, you know, the government has a role of helping kickstart some of these things, and certainly HTDC and HCATT, that's our function. We're a state entity that looks to encourage business development. We've got young people out there with great ideas, great skill sets, great energy to make these companies go, and they just need a little bit of a boost to get them going. And once they do, look out. Then big business takes off, then our revenues kick in, then, you know, our state revenues are ramped up. We hire our own kids out of college. They don't have to go to the mainland for school. We keep them at home and give them good jobs and make Hawaii a cleaner, better place to live. So I'd say my wish is to try and get as much support as we can from across state government and private sector to encourage the kind of development that HTDC and HCATT are nurturing out of our community. I work looking for federal funding to help me with some of my bigger projects because they're well established and they're big ticket items, and we have a track record that we're successful at, and we'll keep working our side. And Len's part of it is a broader based, more of a grassroots level, across the board, high tech look at encouraging people to start businesses here. But bottom line is, we both work for the people of Hawaii. We're here to help get Hawaii to a better place, whether it's with renewable energy or new businesses, keeping our kids at home when they graduate from college and giving them good jobs and good careers. That's my wish, is to help keep fostering those kind of things.
That's our wish here. That's what this is all about for us, you know. It's raising public awareness on the importance of technology, energy, diversification, which is really another way of saying technology and energy, and globalism, of course, the George Ariyoshi dream of Hawaii being a global place. That's what we care about most. And we recognize, and I'm trying to remember exactly this last article I was telling you about, the track of it was we have lots of unfunded liabilities to pay in the government, many, a dozen, which ultimately will cost the state, 30, 40 billion dollars, which it doesn't have. And how do you get there? You can't do same old. You can't live on hotels. It just doesn't work. You got offshore owners. You got minimum wage jobs. That's not going to generate big bucks, not for the state. So you got to have something new. And what is that? That's technology, and it's energy, and the technology of energy. So we think you guys are the key to the future of the state, in a word. So I don't know how you can sleep at night. This is no pressure, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is what drives us inside. Stan and I were chatting just before this about, the place where our kids can grow up and they have a chance to take part in these high-wage jobs, these opportunities to bring the Kamaaina back home into these opportunities. It is a lot of pressure, and it is a lot of excitement. So I think that's the fun part of the job, but that is what motivates us, and that's what keeps us going, keeps us knocking on doors.
Okay, then come back next week, 3 to 4, next Wednesday. It'll be HTDC's special hour going forward. We are so looking forward to that. And as I was thinking here, what I'd like to leave you with is, the old slogan about returning to Israel. The Jewish people always say, next year in Jerusalem. It's part of the liturgy. Well, I say to you, next year in Kaka'ako. Also next year with a CEO, okay? Thank you very much. Len Higashi, Acting Executive Director of HTDC, Stan Osserman, Program Director of HCATT, talking about an update on HTDC and HCATT. As they go, so goes tech in Hawaii. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you,
Jay.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.